Okay, just hit the record button. Looks like it is working this week. Welcome to the weekly Inside Real Estate Success Strategies webinar. The topic this week is how market conditions, I just made this up, how market conditions affect Facebook real estate ads and what to do about it. And with us, we have Gabe Gervelis from Evocalize. Gabe, you want to tell us a little about yourself and what Evocalize does a little bit?
Sure. Evocalize, start there, then I'll tell a little bit about myself. But at Evocalize, we have a embedded marketing technology infrastructure. And what the geeky way to say that would be that we help CRMs, portals, marketplaces, and multi-location brands build advertising products. And so 2 use cases that I can use to explain that in a little bit more detail. And unfortunately, we can't use any of our client names or any of our partner names, but in the portal space, we represent one of the largest real estate portals in the United States. And what happens with the portal is that millions and millions and millions of homeowners come to the portal on a monthly basis to search for homes. And when that search happens on their website, let's say they're searching for a 2-bedroom home, we classify that as a high intent signal or like a hand raise of somebody wanting to purchase a home. So our technology, we will take all of these high intent signals and build a national audience for that. And then we localize that audience. So real estate agents, for example, a real estate agent in Seattle, Washington can click a button and activate a Facebook program in Seattle for that national audience. And if you imagine the hundreds of thousands of real estate agents running ads through a portal, our technology and our infrastructure makes sure that all those campaigns and those audiences are created without a hitch. And then a second use case for our technology would be in the broker world. So one of our clients has about 500 broker offices across the United States. And then in the broker world, recruiting is a very a high need. And so what this client did is they created a national list of all their real estate agents that are around. They programmed it into Facebook, and then they created a lookalike audience on top of that. Well, our technology will bolt onto that audience and then allow, again, that broker in Seattle, Washington to run a recruiting ad to this audience in the Seattle area. So all in all, I think we've probably powered over 650,000 localized campaigns. And then our technology has also served about 5 billion advertising impressions. And one of our customer success directors, Nick, he always jokes and he says that once we serve more Facebook ad impressions than there are humans on Earth, we are going to throw a party. But unfortunately right now, and that date's coming up soon, but it looks like that party is going to be virtual now versus.
Yeah, great. That was a great overview. And the reason I asked you to come on is we've worked with you and consulted with you guys on some of the ad products we have, Property Boost, our Facebook ad stuff. And you've been very, very helpful there. So I also know that you have really good perspective and been putting out some really good content about the effects of COVID on not only COVID, but the effects of seasonality and different things going on in the market on Facebook ad pricing. So I thought it might be a little fun to geek out here today. This is a little bit different than what we usually do, where we'll kind of walk through a specific method. It's a little more higher level for anybody watching right now. And I will just mention that, Gabe, people can't just go to Evocalize and buy ads or anything, right? You guys are more of a consulting shop for CRM. So if anybody's going there, you're probably not going to see an order button or anything. No. Yeah, you have to do, like, we don't do business directly with real estate agents. We're more of a technology to technology company. Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah. So let's jump in. And I said I'll let you talk about yourself. You've been around this stuff for a while, right?
Yeah, my personal background is I had an advertising startup for about 5 years in the Facebook advertising space, but I got into SEO back in 2004. I mean, this is back when you could put a keyword in the title tag of your meta tags and boom, you're on the top of the search engine result listing. And what happened was when I was in my youth, I'd be at like the Seattle Chamber of Commerce event talking about what Google's going to do next, or what Facebook is going to do next. And people were like, you you can predict the future. And so I've been like a geek helping people out, or a consultant helping people out ever since. But it's been a wild ride. I think digital advertising, marketing automation, everything has been gone through a lot of changes in the past decade, and pretty exciting to see what the future holds for it as well.
Yeah, and there's a ton going on right now. Stuff is happening at warp speed, with the tech and with everything else in the marketplace around Facebook ads in general. So one of the big reasons I asked you to come on is you did this really cool COVID analysis. I think I had done a post. I remember I did a post like 3 or 4 months ago, and then you were like, hey, and then you replied back with this awesome blog post that went really in depth on these effects. So I'm going to bring one of those up if that's cool. Should I bring up June?
Yeah. Bring up June. We'll take a look at this last one. I can give a little bit of content about it. So the background. So basically, what happened was when COVID hit in late February and March, our team is very passionate about the real estate industry, and we don't do business directly with real estate agents, but we wanted to find a way to give back and empower agents and brokers to make educated decisions during this very unique landscape that we've never seen before. And so we started off by analyzing data, doing month-over-month comparisons, comparing March to February and then April to March to identify what's going on and how COVID is impacting real estate. So if you scroll down, you can take a look at the results here. And I can dive into this in a second, but basically here on the left, you'll see the February-March comparison, the March-April comparison, and to the right, those percentages are the month-over-month changes of the metrics on top of it. So like CPM, for example, that is cost per 1,000 ad impressions. It's the unit of measurement that Facebook has on how much media cost. CPC is cost per click, CTR, click-through rate. It's a unit of engagement, how many people are clicking on your ads. And then CPL, cost per lead. And then CVR is is the lead conversion rate, or how many people are clicking on an ad and then converting on a website. And then all metrics that are positive are in green, and then all metrics that are negative are in red, and then neutral metrics are grayed out or in zero. So we've compiled that.
And you have a really big ad sample. You have really big samples here, so these numbers should be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, to date, we've analyzed a subset of our real estate business. We've almost about 400 million ad impressions, and then behaviors. And a behavior is, again, somebody clicking on an ad. Behaviors that have generated almost 190,000 leads through Facebook advertising. So it's a very industry unique view of how COVID is impacting the marketplace.
Great. And I think I meant to paste this to everybody in the chat, but it might not have gone. I think I made it to all panelists. So there's the link to this, what we're looking at. And just to boil it down, what you just said, basically minus 29%. You want to, so February, March comparison, that means in March, it was 29% more expensive?
Well, less expensive. So like, going line by line here for a second, the general overview. So what we found is in March, the national state of emergency was declared on March 13th. In month one, when everybody was trying to figure out what was going on, we recorded a 29% decrease in the cost of media. Right? So media got cheaper. And what happened was advertisers in different industries started pooling out. So like all of the travel advertisers stopped advertising on Facebook. So the demand to buy ad impressions was extremely low. But at the same time, more people started working from home, more people started consuming Facebook and social media. So the amount of impression inventory rose, and that created an extremely large drop in the cost of media. But in the early stages, you can see in click-through rate, and again, Ryan, feel free to chime in at any time, but click-through rate went down 25%. And what this means is that people stopped, or a lower percent of people started clicking on ads. The cost per lead increased by 15%, and then the conversion rate decreased by 18%. So we think that March happened and everybody just kind of took a step back. to understand what their real estate needs were. But
and nobody was thinking about real estate probably.
No,
for a couple of weeks there.
We saw traction, but it wasn't anything like a normal business as usual at all. But then in April, it was crazy. Like we analyzed the data in April, and we saw this huge increase in conversion. And that CVR, you can see it was plus 47%. Like buyer demand and people converting, like all of that pent up demand just came back in a way that we've never seen before. Like going from a negative 18% to a plus 40% is pretty insane. And that you can see that drove the cost per lead down 25% in April. But the interesting thing is that CTR continued to drop. So less people were clicking on the ads, less people were engaging with the ads, but the people who were clicking were converting at these substantially high rates.
So this is all conjecture, but I imagine maybe people had nothing better to do. I think about me and my wife sitting on the couch all day, and you see an ad for a house, or do you think there was real intent that people had nothing else to think about maybe, and they started to go into buying mode, which seems to be playing out now that market's hot?
It seems to be playing out now, and there's a good thought. And we can skip ahead to the correlation concept for and we'll return the analysis. But NAR published they have a pending home sales index, and they just came out to say that in May, the month-over-month increase for home sales was a 44.3%. And so this is like the first time that we're thinking that it's the first correlation that we're putting on a high conversion rate in Facebook advertising to pending home sales. And so with our 47% increase, that looks like that generated an extremely high amount of pending home sales as reported by NAR.
Wow, it almost, is this a coincidence? It almost matched it. I mean,
it almost matched it. It's pretty exciting. Like the NAR just released, they just released their May data. And so we want to keep an eye on this as the months continue, as they continue to publish data to see if this has a possible correlation. If it does, if you go back up to the actual analysis, all the way up to the top of the post, then the trends will follow. So like we recorded month after month after month these higher conversion rates. So again, in May, you can see conversions continued to go up. Right? In May, the cost per lead continued to go down. And then the interesting thing happened here in May, we have a plus 15% click-through rate. And that says to us, like, click-through rate theoretically is like the beginning of the buyer's journey, right? It's that when somebody purchases a home, that's the end of the buyer's journey. But when they start searching online or clicking on Facebook ads, that shows very, very, very early stages of intent. So we're starting to see that come back, and you can still see the effect that had. We had another 24% increase in lead conversion rate and another 22% decrease in the cost per lead.
Yeah, so, and I'll mention, this is just the trend is continuing because you've got a plus and then another one. It's kind of like looking at it, like if you trade stocks or something. It's like there's another green bar here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next month. Like once we start to get out of the buyer season in summertime, like there's still time to capitalize on this very unique environment in Facebook. Facebook as a vehicle to unlock buyer demand, and that was uncertain for a long time. And that was the goal of this analysis, was just to see if we didn't know what we were going to expect. If everything was just tanking, it would be a different story. But the data tells the story here, right?
Yeah, yeah. This is very useful. A couple of things. I remember when I initially made my little video and post, and you guys were doing this. The point I was trying to make was a little self-serving. That it doesn't make sense to let the foot off the gas when it comes to lead generation in general. So my argument was, hey, go keep ordering property boosts, go keep running Facebook ads. It's a long-term play anyway. And look, the actual, you might get more bang for your buck on the lead cost.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck in your lead cost, but you're also going to get additional benefits through awareness. And so with everybody else kind of like pulling out of the advertising world, like you'll be front and center. So like the performance, like Property Boost is an amazing system that generates leads, right? Mm-hmm. But if you think that 10%, like 10% of an audience, a 10% click-through rate, or 10% of people will click on the ad, 90% of that audience, that's brand exposure, right? And that's you being in front of this audience saying that you're front and center. And you can also use that to like become your local expert, to be present. And all of those people who haven't clicked are super top of the funnel. They're just starting their real estate journey. And so to nurture them with real estate ads as you're using your Property Boost to generate demand and actual get leads is a great 1-2 punch. And it's the added benefit of that now as the data support shows.
Yeah, and at the time, and maybe still now, a lot of our competition, a lot of other agents were pulling back on their ad budgets. And I was making the argument, hey, this is a good time to actually scale up. If you're thinking long-term, I mean, this click right here isn't money for, in most cases, 12 or more months, right? Let's be 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I'm just saying there's a takeaway here that there's still a vibrant, one of them is that there's still a lot of people out there clicking and searching. As we know, the market didn't go down and it's staying strong. The other thing that you mentioned yesterday that agents could take away from this is that you can take this data and use it to position yourself as an expert. When doing listing presentations, when talking to buyers about whether the direction of the market. So everybody listening, definitely feel free to do that.
Yeah, and I feel like the one of the ways to do that is to literally grab your cell phone and record a selfie video and talk about it. And now that you're like armed with this data, you can inform your local market that Facebook advertising is unlocking demand in real estate, and you have the tools to make that happen. And if you can use this information to instill confidence to people in your local market, then it will benefit from you in the long term. Once they click to come into your website and then get into the KV Core platform and the lead nurturing systems that you have set up.
Yeah, this would be a wonderful, even to print this out and put it in a listing presentation right now, just to show a seller who's maybe on the fence about whether they're going to sell at all. You can make the case here that actually there's a lot of demand, and this might be a great time to have a fast sale.
Yeah, it can definitely be used to grab sellers. So like the seasonality prospect of it, if you want to pull up the I think it was the May link that I sent you. When we first started looking at this data, one of our team members flagged it and said, we need to make sure that this is not just basic seasonality trends, because we're getting into the hot buying season in the end of spring. I think it's a little further down. Keep going. Seasonality. Hey, there we go. And so what you're seeing here is it's the same. This is for March to April, but it's this in 2019 is the top row, and then 2020 is the bottom row. And what you're seeing is like extreme differences between what happened in 2019 during the same time period and what happened in 2020 during the same time period. I mean, if you even look at the click-through rate as a plus 81%, that would signal in 2019 that the market is starting to get hotter, right? Like more people are clicking, more people are engaging on ads. So if you're normally seeing a plus 81%, but this year we saw a negative 9%, that's extreme validation that like the insight that we're pulling from our analysis is not generated from seasonality, and it's due to the current state of the nation and the impact of COVID-19.
And Judd said in the comments, it was pent up demand from earlier in the year. And this data supports that, that the people who would usually be coming out of the woodwork in the spring season just didn't this year. But what we've seen in the months since is that pent up demand. Coming back out. Yep. Awesome. Okay. Where do we go next here? Let's see. trying to bring back up. There was some regional stuff here, right?
Yeah, the regional stuff, our goal with the regional stuff, and as you scroll through some of them, or it was more of just an understanding on a state-by-state level on how conversion rates are being impacted. So what you'll see is that dark green represents high conversion rates, and red will represent low conversion rates. And so just by looking month over month, and if you compare all of them together, it kind of lights up as a lighting board, and you can see that a lot of states into June are starting to become more serious about converting into leads and taking action on the leads. It's kind of interesting to see that California is remaining red. That doesn't mean that people in California aren't filling out lead forms, but they're just converting at a lower rate. But you can see like the South, for example, is starting to come back in conversion rates. But on a month-over-month basis, it's interesting to see just how the individual states are reacting to
and for the people watching, this might explain, you've probably seen some different behavior if you're running your own Facebook ads or you're using our services. This might explain, depending on where you are, why you might have seen a drop off too. So it's interesting, Massachusetts, New York, just to see the places where it was a little more red. Correlation to, to where things were getting hot and heavy with COVID.
And these are just this is another view, just to kind of see like the trend lines in the cost per lead, or the one above is the CVR, to see like the dramatic, you saw it on the chart, but this is like the increase of conversion rate compared to the national emergency that was declared on March 13th, which coincidentally was my birthday. So I've never had a national emergency declared on my birthday before. So I think this year is pretty unique.
It was a Friday, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, mine's exactly a week before, so I remember it too. So yeah, cool. Cost per lead. So here's the cost per lead trend line. That has gone down.
Yeah.
You're still seeing that going into this month? I'm sure you'll have another report next month, but
I haven't seen the data I haven't seen the data coming out from that we'll look at there. So, but I'd assume that things are continuing. I would expect to see that like conversion rates are continuing to increase. The cost of media from the analysis, it looked like the cost of media CPMs was starting to come back to normal levels as pre-COVID. So like that 30% discount on media might not be around for too much longer. But an interesting data point that we found that is not included in this analysis is that when we're comparing media rates from 2020 to 2019, we are still seeing a 50% decrease in media for year over year, which is pretty phenomenal. So even though that like these media rates are starting to come back to normal, Facebook costs in general are down significantly year over year, and we're going to attribute a lot of that. Oh, sorry, go for it.
Yeah, I was going to ask what you attribute to. I mean, I'm just going to guess it's either advertisers pulling out. There's more. You tell me.
Well, I mean, it's all speculative, but like my gut tells me that it's systems like Property Boost, right? So if you think about the effect that automation is having on sophisticated programs like Property Boost, there is no reason why real estate agents or anybody nowadays should be in a Facebook program clicking buttons to advertise listings and spend their time. Like the best practices behind advertising a listing, they've been identified. Those things are not changing, right? So with Property Boost, I believe you have like a lead conversion ad. It's set up to optimize on lead conversions. You're using real images. Well, all of that is automated. And so as programs become more sophisticated, even with the audiences that they're targeting, they're honing in on these audiences. And so Facebook rewards high-performing programs with low media rates. Before, if you're using just basic interest targeting on Facebook and you're spraying ads across a big thing, you're going to pay a higher cost per media because they're not too relevant to the market. But a system like Property Boost that automates everything, you're inserting these like laser bullet programs into there, and you're seeing better results. So
Yeah.
I don't.
I hear. So I'm close to Property Boost. You know, I used to run Property Boost type ads manually, and I've heard it from other agents who've done a lot of Facebook ads on their own who can do it and can get a nice cost per lead and are effective. But I've had a number of people tell me, well, this is way better because I don't have to spend the time, and the leads actually come in the same or cheaper than doing it yourself, usually cheaper. And you're hitting upon why, and that's something I hadn't really considered, is that we're all benefiting, all the Property Boost users, all the KV Core users, we're benefiting from the fact that there are hundreds of other, maybe thousands of other users doing the same thing, and Facebook sees these ads as good. Basically, is what you're saying.
No, I feel like the architecture behind the scenes also goes a long way. So, for example, the way Facebook's super powerful machine learning, their black box, their artificial intelligence works is that these powerful algorithms are applied to an ad account. So if you have all of your listings, like for example for Property Boost, that is processing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of programs in the same ad account, you have a network effect from all of those campaigns that are being executed. And so like our data set, I feel, is like a little bit biased because we're analyzing data from highly sophisticated programs. We're not analyzing Property Boost data, but it's very similar to that's happening. So once you optimize these programs, you can get better results, and that's reflected in that data point of saying that media rates are down 50% year over year.
Yep. Great. And thanks for mentioning Property Boost. Somebody's just asking, can you? The automation that we're talking about in the chat there is the automation of the ad being created. The targeting is all happening automatically. And basically, we're kind of in an age now where the machines can do, for better or worse, they can do a better job than we can if we try to do this ourselves. And we're going to be pulling out our hair, just how arduous it is to go into Facebook and create a lead generation ad, to create the form, to get it live, if they approve it or they don't deny it, and then to go and track and do all the optimization. This is all happening with a click of a button here.
Yeah, it's a click of a button. And I think, and again, like the systems like Property Boost, you get the network effect, and you have like the benefit that's happening that IRE is programming in the background. I think that another program that Facebook has, and we can just geek out on automation a little bit, and then Ryan, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys might be launching something like this soon, is the Facebook's program they have something called dynamic targeting, dynamic real estate ads.
Yep.
And then, Facebook invested millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to create this system, and it's super cool. What it does is it will identify people on your website through the Facebook Pixel, which is already installed through KV Core and Property Boost. But when people search on your website, when they show those high intent signals on your website, like 2-bedroom home or a price range or a school district, Facebook will automatically match that with other listings in the MLS and in the system to create an ad based on that unique user. So now that user leaves your website and they see all these relevant listings that Facebook's black box is matching and utilizing, and they're going to be very similar to those searches. A program like that, like Dynamic Ads for Real Estate, usually will have $100,000 minimum entry to spend, making it out of the range of real estate agents. But when KV Core and IRE build that in the background, every agent will have like access to these highly sophisticated programs, and that is like it starts to get very exciting to enable real estate agents and brokers with these tools that they can go out and make a substantial increase in their business.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I had a kid walk in on me there. I had to come off screen. All right. Okay. Great. So let's see. So how to use this info, just to kind of recap, you can use it to position yourself as an expert. Gabe, you mentioned, I would agree that a best practice here might be to just go and simply fire up Screencast-O-Matic. That's my favorite tool, or do a live Zoom as a Facebook Live, and just fire this up and start talking about the data the same way that we just have. Pop it into your listing reports, your listing presentations, short term. And I think a takeaway here with all the data is, again, not to let off on generating leads, not to let the foot off the gas, no matter what you think the market might be doing. Just know that sometimes it's counterintuitive. You would think that things, lead costs would be going up, or it wouldn't be working as well, and it seems to be working better than ever right now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, keep going. If Facebook's your channel, keep serving ads, keep taking advantage of it. Well, other people aren't advertising. Like, it's just, now is like a great time. It's a perfect time to stay present in your local market, to gain brand exposure, and start to fill your database with leads through the system.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to miss your earlier point about the dynamic running of ads. That is something that Warren talks about. I don't have many details on it. We're in early stages, but yeah, I would agree that that's something we got to get on. So I had a question here. Any chance that coming soon ads will be included as an option to purchase in Property Boost? Yes, I believe that's definitely on the list. Let's see, any other questions? Let's see, any other questions? There was a question about doing Property Boost automatically. If you have a brokerage or a team and you have good listing inventory, I think, don't quote me on this, but it needs to be a certain amount of spend, maybe $1,000 a month or 10 listings. We can set it up so your Property Boost happen automatically without you having to go in to the dashboard and order that. So if you just talk to your account manager or hit up our support team for more details about how to get that done. And let's see, so yeah, and I think that's what we have. I'm going to kind of open it up and does anybody have any other questions or comments about this? Please let us know in the comments, the chat, what you thought about this. Again, this isn't our normal format, but I thought it would help. These success strategies webinars, and I'm hoping that the data that Gabe has shared with us will help you make some decisions about your advertising, and also maybe help you close some listings and have better informed conversations with your buyers. So great, thanks for that feedback, Marie. Gabe, anything else you want to touch on? Anything cool you're seeing that Facebook is, that's coming down the pike with the tech around Facebook? Any advice you'd give to anybody who's going to look and run Facebook ads right now? Tips, pointers?
I think cool things that are coming down the pipeline from our perspective, we see signals of Facebook starting to pick up a lead quality indicator. So, for example, and this is an early beta. They haven't released anything to the public yet, but
I think you guys helped us get involved with that. I think, right?
I believe so. Yeah. And I'd have to check with Nick, but like, one of the advantages of being like a Facebook certified marketing partner is you take your clients and get them involved in these early programs. But what happens is, like, Facebook right now, they optimize their algorithms on the leads that are just the fact that a lead is being generated. It says, oh, this lead is being generated, let's go find more users that are like that and serve ads like that. What this new program is going to do is it allows us to send a quality signal back to Facebook to say, this was a bad lead, I couldn't contact them, or this was a prime lead. And you just send these two quality signals back to Facebook, and it will optimize more for those quality leads to get even more value for your dollar. So it's their effort to focus on higher quality leads as the outcome. That should be coming down here pretty soon.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how far along we are on this, but to kind of bring this down into KV Core terms, I think the end result here, if we can get it done, would be to signal to Facebook as leads reach different statuses in the CRM. So if somebody reaches client, that's a certain signal. If they're closed, we can send that data back to Facebook, and then Facebook will start to show ads to people who are similar to them. So that's another that's just another level. Imagine you're only showing ads to people who look like the guy who just closed $1 million house with you, for example. So really cool. So a couple questions I'll answer here. Great. Thanks for the comment, Rich, on your property boosts. That sounds like you had a good one. You had a hot one there. Does it customize the ad? Do we have a chance for customization? This is a great question, Lumbros. And I was talking to Gabe about this yesterday. And no, there's no options for customization right now, but you're going to have to trust me on this. And I'm really confident saying it. I might not have been confident saying it a year ago when we started launching these products a year or two ago, but you don't need much customization. The AI, in my opinion, we have a few templates that get fed to Facebook. They kind of rotate through, and all that you adding custom copy kind of does is I haven't seen the results improve. Let's put it that way. I run a lot of ads manually, and I see the data and the cost per lead running it through the kind of stuff that Gabe's talking about, and there's no real returns in doing that. We are, however, along the lines of customization, we are thinking a lot about offering more niche type of ads. So right now you can run for properties, you can run general kind of just listed ads through our Facebook regular ad service. So we're looking at things like letting you run a new construction ad, fixer-uppers, things like that. So thanks for the question, though. So Sold Ads asking, can KV Core be set up by Property Boost be set up by me or the support staff? You can just go right into the marketplace page and click on the Property Boost tile, and it's totally self-serve. So anybody with a KV Core account, you can run it for your listing or for any other listings that you have permission. It's kind of on you to not run another agent's listing without permission, but anything that's actively listed in the MLS will be available to boost. Interesting question here. AJ's asking, when making Facebook ads, would you recommend using COVID-19 in your text to help your advertising, or would you try not to use that terminology? I would, Gabe, I'll let you say that too. I'd probably stay away from it, but Gabe, what's your take?
I would, just for ad approval reasons. I mean, yeah. Facebook is cracking down a lot on the types of ads that are being approved. So it might be flagged to go underneath internal review. And just by using COVID-19, you will probably be expedited into the team of people who are in charge of making sure that the content quality around this is of a certain nature. So, but if you're going to use it in your copy to say it, I mean, hey, give it a shot. Position yourself as an expert. And if it gets rejected, try it again, or remove it and say something else in your ad copy.
This brings up a great point. We've been wrestling with this. Facebook's bots aren't very smart sometimes, and they'll just take that keyword and they'll just ban your ad, even though you're not doing anything wrong. Right. Yeah, right. YouTube's doing it too. And just a funny story. One of my favorite YouTubers, George Gammon, he's using cerveza sickness.
No.
So if you want to skirt around it, the point I'm making is if you want to skirt around it and kind of use other terms other than COVID-19, just the situation, things like that, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we have COVID-19 in our URL of our blog post, and like we can share that on social media, no problem. But we haven't tried to run any ads against it, like retargeting ads to people coming on our website.
Yeah.
Just yet. We have with other some more of our content, but it's a signal like that might be caught in Facebook's algorithms to reject it.
The other thing, for whatever reason, something you got to be careful too, because you could bring up, you can make your ad political for better or worse. You just know where the world's at right now. So just be careful around using it. And Michael's asking, can we advertise the potential sellers? I love this question. We may come up with specific niched ads geared towards sellers, but my answer is always that all the Facebook ads you run are seller ads and buyer ads, because really what they're doing is they're putting homeowners and renters into your KV Core database. So homeowners who might list with you someday or buy a house with you, and renters who might buy a house. Everybody fits in those two categories.
Totally. And again, I'll just really kind of say that again, is like the 10% click-through rate of people clicking on the ads are buyers, but the 90% of people who are not clicking on the ads have seen some sort of signal that makes them either a buyer or a seller. So it would be, even the ad might not be speaking directly to the seller, you're still getting your face in front of them, you're still getting your brand in front of them, you're still making the brand impression, you're there, you're top of mind. And it will be, and they might just click on the ad and come into your website to fill out the contact form.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Gabe, this was great. Thanks again for coming on.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me. Love geeking out about data. We'll keep sending this your way when we come up with more insight about COVID-19. We'll continue to monitor the situation, and then we'll keep an eye on the correlation with the pending home sales as well. And as things come down, we'll cycle it through. So thanks for having me on. Truly appreciate it.
Yep. And thanks for everybody for watching. This will be posted in the Facebook group at insiderealestate.com/Facebook group. And I'll be sure as Gabe releases these awesome blog posts with this data that we posted in the Facebook group as well. Gabe, thanks again, man.
All right. Thanks for having me, Ryan.
All
Next
right.
time I want to see you with your hat forward though.
You got it.
All right.
All right, man. See you later.
Cheers, dude. Bye.